Hello 3D world, hello my 3D brothers or sisters, wherever you happen to be residing on the planet. I got three little simple tips that we never hear about on any of the YouTube channels that I ever watch about 3D printing. So here we go. Number one is the most important one. Patience. You have to have patience with 3D printing. As you all aware, 3D printers takes time. Nothing really ever prints out in 5 minutes. And if it does print out in 5 minutes, that means you have a little tiny object. So that's my second tip. Patience. Number two, when you're extruding, I hope you can see right there, I have a black mark on my extruder. That black mark let me know, hey, it's extruding. It is extruding. So that's my second one. I think I'm going to add 4 to it because I had 4. So number one, patience. Number two, to make sure your extruder is working, always take a marker and right on your filament, put a little mark and watch to see if it's truly being pulled in. Because as you all know, you think it may be extruding, but it may not be. And I guess most of us have a sensor on ours. You see right here with my hand at, I have a sensor to let me know when the filament has been used up. Number 3, it's a big one. My next one is a big one. As you all know, as you see with my 3D printer, it's printing some type of a test thing. I discovered this before. I really might have 5 because I'm adding more to it right now. Number 3, whenever you're going to print something out, before you print your actual artifact, use a test print. Use a test print, because I discovered sometimes when you want to print your thing out, it comes out looking like a plastic man or whatever. So I discovered, hey, before I print out my actual thing, I'm going to print a test print to see that my printer is really set up correctly. The next one, number 3. You all know, when the 3D print is over, you're not there to watch it when it's actually over. So when you come back, the plate cool down, the filament is not moving anymore. So what you should always do, right here on my control box, I usually set my temperature to like 80, my bed to 80 degrees. Here it's set for 60 because it's working. I set it to 80 degrees because that helps it pop right off of the table. But like I said, it ties hand in hand with my first principle. You have to be patient. So when you set it at 80 degrees, you have to let your table stay, 80 degrees for like several minutes so it can easily pop off and have a uniform temperature. My next thing that I discovered for me is, as you see, I do not have that filament wheel on here. Where I live at, and here in the East Coast, we have the summertime. In the summertime, my filament, it may get destroyed because of the humidity. So what I've done, whenever I print something, I cut off a piece of filament. Mine is about 6 arms length. But if you want to, you can make whatever arm length you want, like 10, 15, or whatever. And when I cut off my filament now, I never had to worry about my filament spool being destroyed. I've lost many filament spools because of the humidity destroying it. But now I don't have to worry about it because I have my filament in a secure place where the humidity can't destroy it. So those are my little simple tips. I said 3, but I gave more. Number 1, patience. Number 2, put a mark on your filament, as you can see, I know it's working because the black mark is no longer there. So you take your marker. I can't find my marker now because I was talking so much. You put a little mark. You can find whatever marker you got and put a little mark on your spool on the filament, and you'll see that it's really moving. The next one I said, I take off how much filament I think I may need. For me, I use about 6 arms length, but you can cut off how much you want. And that way, wherever you live at, California, where it's always warm, or even in a area where it's coast as Nebraska, you won't have to worry about your filament spool getting destroyed. And last but not least, I said when your filament or when your artifact is finished printing, set your temperature to around 80 degrees. Set your bed temperature about 80 degrees, 90 degrees, so it can easily pop off. These are things that I've never heard someone give me advice on. And before I go, one more thing too. When you're heating up your bed, you can heat up your filament too. Because one thing I like to do, I don't like to have my filament stuck in an extruder. I like to heat my nozzle back up, and I like to pull my extruder out of. I like to pull my filament out of my extruder, like with my finger at. I may pull it out to that length, so I don't have to worry about nothing getting clogged up inside my extruder. So I hope you enjoy these little simple tips on preserving the life of your 3D printer. The nozzle part, how to handle the filament, and most important of all, being patient. Take care and happy 3D printing.